Hello and welcome to Stories, the True and the Fictional, the variety show that revolves around one central theme: stories and the people that tell them. If you haven't done so already, hit subscribe and ring that notification bell. And hey, if you're feeling up for it, leave a comment down below, let us know you subscribed, and we will give you a shout out. We here at Stories, the True and the Fictional love giving shout outs to authors, both seasoned and new. Today we're giving a special shout out to author T.R. Hamby from Florida. Her book Fake Out is about a man called Matty Ross who pays Cass Willard $10,000 to pose as his girlfriend for one night at his father's gala. They're playing a sneaky game, and the gala is the grand finale. Grab a copy of Fake Out on Amazon or by following the link in the show notes. Hello and welcome, guys, to Stories, the True and the Fictional. Today we have another exciting guest all the way from the UK. Willow, how are you going?
Not too bad. All good. A bit nervous, but we'll get there.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. We don't bite. We like to. It's not sort of while we do have questions to ask you, it's more of a friendly chat, and that's why what we do that to try to sort of separate us from the Joe Rogans of the world. We just like to have it informal. But yeah, very laid back, so nothing to be worried about. We'll go easy. And what we like to do is with our guests, we always like to start the show off the same way with 5 icebreaker questions. It just kind of does exactly what they're meant to do, breaks the ice, and also gets our listeners and viewers a chance to get to know you before we get into the reason why we are here, which is your many, many works. So are you ready to go?
Yeah. Ready.
Excellent. All right. Well, I always take the first one because that's just how I roll. So if you could get rid of one thing in this world, what would it be? And it doesn't have to be the politically correct answer. You can be selfish here. We appreciate it.
Okay. Well, mine's not selfish, but I would get rid of negativity.
Yeah, 100%.
All of it. It's just too much in the world, I would say.
Yeah.
No, I agree. See, I could have been really funny then and just said, no, I don't like that answer. But then that defeats the purpose of your answer. So I'm going to agree and smile and say, yeah, no, that's a very good idea. There's too much. I always have a saying, negativity breeds negativity. So I try and be as positive as possible. That's the best way to be. So
exactly.
I agree with you there, 100%.
But that would get rid of that character in the Spider-Man game, Ryan.
Mr. Negative?
Yeah.
No, look, I think he was very positive about the way he liked to slaughter people, so I think he would still be in the universe. I think we should be okay.
All right. Okay, so Willow, tell us something on your bucket list.
Okay, wow. I had to think about this one long and hard. I would say skydiving, but I hate heights. I absolutely hate heights. So but I want to do it though. So I have to be pushed out the plane instead. Hopefully strapped to someone, not by myself, but yeah.
So would that'd be kind of like exposure therapy, trying to get over, the fear of heights by jumping out of a plane. That's probably the highest you've ever been in your life.
Yeah, basically launching myself out of, a plane. And then afterwards, I'll feel really happy about it. But during that, I probably, need new underwear, possibly.
Yep, 100%. I can't do heights either, and the highest that I've ever been is I went on a holiday to New Zealand with my father, and there's something there called the Sky Tower. Now people are crazy and jump off the top of it in bungee jumping and stuff like that, but I managed to get outside on the highest level outside. So with the wind, it's very windy in New Zealand. It was in Auckland, and I couldn't make myself move from the doorway, but I still like to say that I was outside at the highest point of the Sky Tower. So that was a big.
Just as bad as me. Yeah.
And I definitely, luckily, I told my dad, okay, I'm gonna need to pack some extra undies in my bag just in case. I feel your pain. I feel it.
I was on the Eiffel Tower once and I had to be carried down because I was too scared of the height.
Yeah, I don't think I could do that. I really don't think I could. I'd love to because it's such an amazing thing to do, but yeah, I don't think I'd be able to. So you've got more power to you than I do. So well done.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so this is the one question where we will be judgmental, or I will be judgmental on this. What, in your opinion, is the greatest sitcom ever made? And if it's not your favorite, what is your favorite?
There's just so many. I was trying to think of that earlier. Just so many to choose from. But am I allowed a few, or is it just one?
Look, I'll give you 3.
Oh no.
3.
Okay, so
I'll give you 100, but I'll give you 3.
okay. Have you ever heard of Bottom?
No.
You haven't? With Rick Mail? Not at all.
Love Rick Mail, but I've never heard that. No.
You need to watch it. You really do.
I'm
That's my first one.
Okay.
The second one is absolutely fabulous because they're just brilliant. Can't help it. And then I would say the third one is Steptoe and Son. You might not know about that one. Steptoe and Son.
No, I don't.
It's quite an old one.
Okay, all British, are they? I know Absolutely Fabulous is, but are they all British shows?
Yeah, they are actually. Yeah.
I do say British comedy is much better than American comedy. I do prefer, like, one of my I love the young ones. I am a big
the young ones. That was on my list as well.
Yeah, 100%. I grew up on that, and I remember my parents exposed me to that lovely movie Drop Dead Fred with Rick Mail as well. So I absolutely love that. And as I grew up, I love the Ricky Gervais Office. I love the In-Betweeners, all those kind of shows. They're just, I just think you guys do humor so much better than the Americans.
Yeah, we don't hold back.
Not at all. Like, I think Australian humor and Australian comedies and British comedies are pretty on par because we're both kind of got the same, we don't really care what you think attitude. We'll just put it out there. We're not worried about what everyone will think. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's the best kind of comedy to have. So definitely pass that one with flying colors.
Oh, good.
All right. Do you have a zombie apocalypse plan?
Well, half, I would say. Now, obviously, normally people would gather weapons and stuff like that. But what I would do is gather seeds and food and as much water as I possibly can find, and basically hibernate in the woods somewhere. Away from zombies, obviously.
Yeah. I was going to say, is there a particular area that you were thinking where it might be a bit difficult for the zombies to come in?
Well, there's a place not too far from mine. It's called Ebbw Gorge, and it's like a woodland area, and it's got like loads of rocks and cliffs and stuff. So I'll probably just try and hibernate in, around there, become a caveman, basically.
Well, that's a good idea. You want to go somewhere where there's lots of different obstacles like rocks and, rock walls and stuff like that for, zombies aren't always the most intelligent people. So, if you can find somewhere where it's going to take a bit of, the terrain's going to take a bit of negotiating, they might just give up and, go back to a city or something.
Exactly. So that was my plan, if it does happen, obviously.
Don't you mean when it happens?
Hopefully it doesn't, it's not when.
All right. Well, thank you for that. And the last question is my favorite as well. So Mr. Elon Musk gets you on the phone and said, look, I've just invented this new electric time machine. We have done some initial testing, but I want you to be the first person to test drive it, to take it to wherever you would like to go as a one-time thing. What do you do and where do you go?
Well, one, pack some more underwear, just in case. And I did try and think about this one long and hard as well, but I'm going to be quite selfish with this one. I would go back to my past and basically tell my younger self to pull herself together, stop being so shy, that she will succeed, and basically just go for it and not wait another 10 years and then do it. That was my plan.
Okay.
I don't think he'll be too happy about that, but you know.
Hey, Elon has said you can do whatever you want. Whatever you want. It's not something for him to make money. He just wants to know that it works. Doesn't matter where you go. So that is a good idea. That's if you can give anything you can do to kind of give yourself a leg up in this world, because there's enough trials and tribulations that we all have to go through anyway. So that's definitely not selfish. I think that's a very good way to use pretty much a once in a lifetime chance.
Exactly. Well, hopefully you won't ask me, but just in case.
Always good to have a backup. Excellent.
Yeah, awesome. Why don't we crack right into it? And just want to tell our listeners and our viewers all about you and how you got into writing.
Oh God. Oh, wow. So basically, I've got a very, very vivid imagination. Always had. And at first, I didn't want to read. I hated reading, and I was about 4 or 5 at the time. And we didn't have much back then, so we didn't have obviously the PlayStations or TV. We only had one TV in the room. My dad always used to hog it, so we weren't really allowed to watch much either. So then, it was around about that time. I remember I started reading books from the library. Got into Goosebumps.
Oh yeah.
And that's where my horror fetish came from.
Mm-hmm.
And then from then on, I started reading as I got older, about 4 to 5 books a week. And then I started writing at around about 7, basically horror stuff. Nothing, nothing fairy tale. It's just horror.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to read it to my mum, and she used to, big me up and say, this is really good. Then I got into my teenage years, and it went downhill pretty quickly. Boys, drinking, parties, that type of thing. And then I sort of forgot about it. But when I was 12, I started writing a book, which is actually should be coming out at the end of this year or beginning of next year. And I started writing it, and it was on an old laptop. And unfortunately, I lost it.
Oh no.
I know, that's a horror. One of the authors, horror stories is when you lose a piece of work.
Mm-hmm.
So then I started writing it again, and then I forgot about it until 10 years later when I found it on one of my memory sticks, plugged it in. I thought, this is quite good, not too bad. And it wasn't until last year, because I'm a carer as well, so I work in care.
Mm-hmm.
And I sort of had what's the word is it called, epiphany? Is that the one? Epiphany.
Yeah, epiphany, yeah.
Yeah. Sort of sat down and I thought, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm. Even
though I love being a carer, it's a good job, but it's very hard to do. I thought, what are my talents? What can I do? And my talents are music, writing, acting, all the sort of creative stuff. I thought writing. So I started writing some, stories, horror again, as per normal. And I made the Stories That Spook Facebook site. Mm-hmm. Started writing on there, and I must admit, I cringe at the stuff now from last year because there's no grammar, no nothing. It was it's quite embarrassing now. But over time, I started gaining more and more readers. I learnt about grammar, and started adding that in. And then I was finishing my book of about 12 years. Finished that one, started writing another children's picture book, finished that, and they're both being published around about the same sort of time. And then now I finished my second book to my young adult series, and I'm also writing a horror book as well. So it's a lot going on. I also do some scripts, and I'm trying to get into scripts and writing drama series about murder, obviously. I've got a very morbid imagination. It's terrible. But yeah, that's basically where it sort of come from, really. It's my love of books and reading. So I sort of can just go into a different world.
No,
Basically just imagine things.
if you can, and I'm the same, if you can find a book, or I mean, obviously I'm not a writer myself, but if I can find a really good book, it'll take me away from the world for a couple of
Yeah.
hours or an afternoon. So I think that's a brilliant thing. But my question is, when I was jumped on your website earlier today, how do you go from writing horror to writing a kid's book to writing younger? They're back to horror again. Like, normally the people we speak to, they have a certain genre and they stick with it, but I think this is really good. It's very diverse. So what made you go, okay, I've just written some horror, kids books are next for me?
This is going to be a really weird story. So I went to, it was like a psychic fair where they sort of do readings and tarot readings and stuff like that. And I went to go see a woman at my writing and said it was going to be, you know, quite successful, blah, 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 bigging me up basically. And then she said, you need to start writing children's picture books.
Okay.
And I thought, well, I've never done that before. Okay. And then she said something about a dragon, that it needs to be about a dragon. So I have put some of my like morbid imagination into the children's picture book. It's basically, his name is the wishy-washy curly whirly dragon. And he's quite abnormal. He's and obviously all the other animals will pick on him. And he's really old, and he goes on like an adventure for a picnic type thing, and he loses his false teeth on the way. And he's really embarrassed about it because no one else knows, and that's his biggest secret.
Mm-hmm.
So when he's trying to backtrack and find these false teeth, he meets two other animals, one snake, one mouse, who look a lot like him, and they're obviously quite abnormal as well. They become friends, find the teeth, and it's a happy ending. I think that's the only story I've ever written that has a happy ending.
Well, spoiler alert, let's hope none of the little children are listening to this podcast, because we want the book to sell and make you some money.
Yeah,
so,
basically, yeah.
But we can edit that out if you want. That's fine. No. So, obviously, how different, like how different did you find the process from writing a children's book from writing, you know, a horror book or a young adult's kind of story?
It was actually very easy. I managed to do it within a week and a half.
Okay.
Surprisingly enough, it was a week and a half. I'm quite good at poetry and sort of rhyming, and I can do some art. I mean, I used to do it when I was younger, but over the years, you know, not being able to do much, it sort of tailed away. So basically, writing children's picture books is not my best thing to do. But I thought, let's just whip it out, let's just see. And obviously now it's going to be turned into another book series. So I'm going to have to start whipping more out, basically. And I have no idea. I haven't even started on them yet. I've just got the first one coming out. So that's going to be quite hard to do, but easy with the poetry. And I have got quite a childish mind anyway, because obviously I've got kids and, you know, imagination and stuff like that. So it goes through them first before, you know, a thumbs up basically. Through my kids. Okay.
So I like that. So you child labor as editing. Excellent.
Yes.
That's the best. I mean, that's what you have kids, isn't it? So that you can put them to work and make sure that they proofread everything. Excellent. I like that. Very, 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 very good. So did you do the artwork yourself?
I did do some of the artwork. I designed my dragon, obviously the other characters, but I obviously did it in pencil. I don't have any like computer skills.
Okay.
So my company are bringing the illustrations in, but on my designs.
Oh, excellent.
Which I don't actually know how long that takes. I have no idea.
You just leave that to the big wigs. That's fine. They'll take care of that for you.
Exactly. So like, yeah, just leave it for them. You know, they can carry on.
Oh, excellent. Oh, that's good. Well, then why don't you tell us a bit about your young adult fantasy series, Past My Time, The Witch's Curse. Obviously, this is a first book in a series, correct?
Yeah, the first book. Again, obviously, I was 12 when I thought of it. It was just a storyline. I'm one of those authors that just go with the flow. I don't write any, you know, I don't bullet point it. I just go with the flow.
Okay.
Which is quite funny because my main character, obviously my 12-year-old mind, is she's quite childish. But over time, and obviously finishing it last year, she basically turned into a quite strong, independent woman. So I've kept that all in. And there was one thing my editor said to me. It's quite hard for me with emotions. I can't really express it as much as obviously for average person. And that came into my main character. So she was asking me like, oh, how does she feel about this bit? How does she feel about that bit? And I was thinking, I don't know. I have no idea. Obviously pinpoint the bits where I need to add emotions in her and then go from there. But the other characters, absolutely fine. I can do those. It's just the main character. I think it's because I'm so connected to this character that it's hard for me to, I can feel it obviously in my head, but express it, it's just blank. no go area. So that was quite hard in that bit. And then over time, I just started adding more and more storylines, plot lines. There's so many subplots in it. It's just, it's ridiculous. And then I tried to sort of tie it all up at the end, leaving it on a cliffhanger, of course, as I normally do, obviously for the next book. And it's basically about this woman called Mary. It is based in the 18th century, but she goes back in time to the 17th century. And her parents disappear a few years before. And she meets this man, and he knows her parents because his dad was friends with her parents. So basically he takes her on a voyage.
Yeah.
And the crew don't like it because obviously she's a woman. So it's got quite a bit of that in it as well. But my best character is the witch, Elizabeth. Mm-hmm. Now I've made it look disgusting, like half rotting type thing. And she's basically chasing them down. And she's also got my main character's grandfather and uses him because obviously he's in that time anyway. So she uses him to try and kill my main character. And she's trying to like save him, but keep out of his way at the same time. Mm-hmm. So again, a lot of subplots within the plot. It does all add up in the end, hopefully, against my editors, Mm-hmm. She did get surprised by the ending though, but which I won't say on here. So obviously readers.
Yeah. So when is that one due to come out?
Again, I didn't actually realize how long it takes for a book to be published. Mm-hmm. And it can take from obviously a year. It could even be more than a year. So it's being edited right now. Mm-hmm. My brother Louis, he's an artist, he's an illustrator, so I got him to actually do the illustration for my book cover. Mm-hmm. He's really good. He's like me, horror, we love horror. And so he's done that. He's obviously sent that one off. I think it might be at the end of this year it should be coming out, or beginning of next year, but they haven't actually given me a date yet, which I'm waiting for.
Yeah, normally this podcast is about selling me books.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, yeah, I'm into this one. Oh, it's not out yet. Okay, cool. That's fine. I have to wait. But we always joke that the subplot of it, when I speak to our guests, I normally end up buying their books anyway. So I will have
while we're recording.
While recording, yeah, most of the time while we're recording. But I will have to bookmark your website, and when it comes out, I will get my hands on a copy of it for sure. But
yeah, the book cover is it's very different, very unique, and I will be using my brother for all my books, apart from obviously the children's picture books. Let's not put that on the front cover. All of them that come out. So because this art is very unique, and they will recognize the books as obviously me and him, and obviously trying to get my brother, a bit more exposure as well.
Well, that's it. I mean, not only he's very talented because the cover of the book grabbed me instantly. But obviously he's your brother, so you can, give him a little bit less money and keep a little bit more for you.
Actually, that book cover, that was my book cover that I designed.
Oh, was
Funny
it?
enough. Yeah, it's not actually the book cover. I put my readers that there will be a book coming out, but it's not actually the cover. That's from me, but thank you anyway.
It is really good.
This
it's
one
really
is better.
grabbing. I like it. I like it a lot. I've seen that. I've gone, because I don't read much young adult because I am 40 myself, but this just sort of piqued my interest. I'm like, okay, all right, I'm in for this one. So because this is it's because I'm a massive horror fan as well. So I get that supernatural horror feeling from just the cover. So
yeah, exactly. And that actually took me a day to design.
Oh wow. Huh.
I'm quite good at that stuff. It's just actually drawing things for me, these little stick men. I mean, I'm a bit better than that, I would say, but I don't know who's going to buy a book with stick man on it.
I would.
Oh well, there we go. Okay, I'll try and write one just for you.
You get one sale. Do you want to just go into a little bit about your the site you run, the stories that spook? Like, what's all that about?
Well, so the name came to me. So obviously, with my little epiphany that I had, it was a title. I need something to, for the readers to know it's me. And I'm quite a shy person, so I don't really want to put my name on it. But over time, my name has gone on it now. But and I was thinking, obviously, along the Goosebumps type of, era.
Yeah.
Thinking stories that spook. It just came to me. And yeah, most of my stories that spook, and they're thriller, and some of them are crime. I sort of revolve around that era, that type of thing. But yeah, I can't say where it came from. Things just pop into my head, like the story, like the book I'm writing now. I was sat outside, and the idea just came straight into my head. It was I don't even know where they come from. My morbid mind, I would say.
No, I've had a look at a few of the stories here, and they're actually really, really good. I do like it's very hard to, from some of the guests that we have had, it's very hard to get this, the same kind of scares out of the written word as opposed to, movies and short films and stuff like that. But I think they're very good, very, very good.
Are you reading the ones on the website? I haven't actually updated my website in a while. I'm not really good with technology, but on my Facebook page, there's a lot more on there, and I'm gathering a lot more readers.
Yeah, I was looking at that on your website. But no, very, very good. I really so obviously this is another question I like to ask our guests. So, who are some of your favorite authors and some of the books that you've read over the years? Obviously, you mentioned you've been reading from a very early age, and very similar to myself. So, who are some of your favorite authors?
I would say obviously the good old Stephen King.
Yeah.
I do like his work, and I do like the films that come out as well. And the way he sort of writes and just brings you straight into the book.
Yeah.
I must admit, some of the words that he does use, I still don't understand. I'll have a dictionary next to me just to look it up.
Yeah.
And when I was younger, there was a series, I think it was called Point Horror. That's what it was called. I'm collecting those as well, because they're from the 90s. Yeah. And I love reading stuff from the 90s. I liked the idea behind the stories, but they were too kiddish for me.
Yeah.
So I was sort of reading dictionaries and French dictionaries by the time I was 8.
Oh, wow, okay, yeah. So a little bit not at your level. So I totally get that. I definitely grew up on the Fear Street series as well. That was very good. I really like that.
Oh yeah, they're brilliant. And that's where not obviously my ideas come from, but it's based around that. That's where my excitement comes from, and that's what I want to give my readers. So, and I still now, because obviously I'm quite sad and I've got no life.
Not at all.
I'm joking.
I still read. I'm not going to lie. This might, I still read my Goosebumps books. They're all digitized now, but I still look at. They still, for me, they still have a lot of rereadability. I still enjoy them. It's a quick read. You can just sit down and enjoy it, and it's very nostalgic too. So, I get on board with that.
My brother used to have quite a few of them, and he would never let anyone go near his books. So I used to sneak into his room, grab one quickly, try and read it within the day, and then slip it back in.
Love
so
it.
if he's watching this, thanks, Louis.
Excellent. No, I love that. That's good. Oh, that's good. It gives an idea of, what you like to read. What you got, because essentially what you start reading early is essentially what gets you into wanting to write those stories and write those novels as well. So what are you currently working on at the moment?
So I'm obviously trying to edit my second book of the Past My Time series.
Yep.
I have put that one on the back burner just for the moment, only because I want to go back on it with fresh eyes.
Yep.
And not have embarrassing typos in there. But the book I'm working on now, so this is the idea that came to my head outside.
Yep.
It's called The Taranock.
Okay.
And it's I'm not sure if I'm going to put it into young adult just yet, or if it's going to be an adult book. It depends on how weird I make it. It's basically it's based in America, which is, I don't know why, it's because I'm probably American horror as well.
Yep.
And there's this family, they move into it's not a new place, it's a very old house.
Yep.
And over time, as they're there, they keep hearing these noises at night, and it's called the Taranock. So basically it's a demon type thing. Okay. And the demon, he looks disgusting, but I'm not going to say that on here. So I'll leave that to your imaginations. And the Taranock moves with time. He can only move with time, the tick-tock of time. And there's a grandfather clock that was left with the house, and it's really old as well, and that's where it comes from. Okay. And basically what it does, it drags these massive chains behind him, and he's got like souls and things like wrapped around their necks, and he's dragging them, and what he's trying to do, he's trying to collect the souls. So the family who lived there before, they completely disappeared. Oh wow! No one knows. They just thought, they just got left basically. But the family that have moved in have no idea. They're out of town, so they don't know the history of the house. So over the course of the book, when they find all these weird scratches, obviously from the chains on the floor, they keep sort of buffing them out and thinking, what is this? Mm. And the nightmares and the noises at night, and that's when obviously they see it. But I'm only not really even halfway through, so I don't know the ending just yet. Again, I'm just going with the flow with this one. Okay. But yeah, this is going to be a proper horror book, not one of my, try and keep it sweet and nice. I like it. I want it now, please. Like, just if you could finish it in the next day or two and send me a copy, that'd be awesome. No pressure. I could try, but I'm only on page 35 at the moment.
I just make it a novella.
Is it going to be a Stephen King-esque, like 4,000 pages or something, or is it just going to be?
Oh, good God, no! I'll probably have like nubs for fingers by the end of it. So the best idea. But it'll probably be around about 250 pages, 300 at most, I would say.
Well, look, I can say you've successfully kept with the theme of the podcast and sold Ryan a book once it comes out. You've got me hook, line, and sinker at the moment, so I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to this.
That's good.
Definitely.
Hopefully, the children's picture book has perked your interest as well.
I'll just buy that for the sake of it. I'm just the other two I actually really, really want to read, so I'm very, very interested in those.
It's all right, Ryan. You can read the kids' book to your cat.
I will. I'll read the kids' book to my cat or to my rabbit, one of the two. I'm sure they will enjoy it. My cat, she was on the podcast. That's why I have to have my background as because my cats always sit right here and they will just annoy me and try and attack me and assault me and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I did sort of think behind, what is that behind him? Sort of moving.
Are you asking the question? Here we go.
Look. He likes this.
This is my housemate.
Reeves. Oh my God.
Keanu Reeves.
Oh my Lord.
Back to bed. I'll be in shortly. Jamie actually bought that for my housemate as a Christmas present. So, but yeah, he's down.
Yeah.
So that's why you see
Beautiful.
if I move my hand sort of this way, you can sort of catch a glimpse of Keanu's head in between my fingers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Well, sticking with the theme, because this is the question that Ryan has asked every single horror guest that's come on. Got any favorite horror movies?
No, Jamie. The question that I asked, Jamie's not a horror fan, so forgive him. So I always say, what's your favorite scary movie?
Oh my gosh. Again, I can't. I'm just looking at my DVDs. Actually, I've got them everywhere.
I'll give you 5. I'll give you 5.
Oh God. There's just so many to choose from. I like the old films, The Omen with like Damien, which I should have called my younger son actually, Damien. We'll ignore that one. A film which is quite fun. It is horror, but it's more comedy horror. I'm not sure if you've heard of it. It's called Brain Dead.
Yes, Peter Jackson's early work. I love that movie.
Yes.
That's brilliant. My favorite. I actually got that from my Year 7 sleepover. My parents let me hire that, and it got to the scene where the protagonist is mowing down the undead with a lawnmower, where my dad said maybe this is not the right movie for your 12-year-old brains, but he let us finish it anyway. But I love that movie, so I'm on par with that.
They used so much blood in that, fake blood, obviously, in that movie, that they had to get more. And during that scene you just said, you can tell that it's changed to a.
But isn't it so good to imagine that is the man that brought us The Lord of the Rings?
I know.
that gave us that movie, and I'm like, yeah. So there you go. I'm probably maybe one of the few people that will know that movie. So well done.
I was thinking, am I too weird to say that film? No. I mean, it is quite a weird film, I must admit.
Nope.
But it's brilliant, and it makes you feel queasy. It's quite funny. I would say another film of mine, which I didn't actually understand to begin with, which I still don't understand properly now. It's called, I can never say it properly, Hereditary.
Hereditary, yeah, or however you say it.
That's it.
Yeah. That's a one from us, I believe. Jamie will be no help here because he doesn't like horror.
I just don't.
Useless.
Yeah, no, I have seen that. That is, it's an Australian movie, which is great.
There's another one, but it's actually a series, and it's from the 1970s. It's not really horror, but it's more like the stuff that I write. It's called Thriller. I mean, it is British, so I don't actually know if you might not know it. That is a series. I love watching them. I don't know why. Love watching like 70s stuff as well. Is that my third one?
That's your third one.
2 more.
Yep.
2 more. The first film of Saw, I find that brilliant.
Yeah.
But the films after that, just not for me.
Look, I agree with you 1,000,000,000%. That's another local talent from Australia, Lee Winnell and James Wan. Fantastic. I agree with you. Yeah, they sold the rights off. They moved to executive producers on all of the rest of them, and they just didn't quite have the same feeling as the first.
No. Because that one shocked me. That the ending of that. I mean, not many films shocked me, but the ending of Saw, I was just hooked. It was brilliant. Yeah. But the ones after, they just kept going on and on and on, and I was just like, it's just blood, gore. It's just really not my scene anymore. And then, my last one is Event Horizon.
Yep, I'm down with that. Jamie's probably seen that one.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
It's not that horror, just saying, by the way. It won't scare you.
No.
But no, look, they're solid. I think there was only the series that you mentioned. That was the only one I haven't seen. All the rest are solid picks.
Yeah, the Thriller is very, very, very dated now. Not many people know, unless obviously you're around that era. Even though I'm not around that, but I was brought up with all the 70s, 60s, comedy, horror. I mean, what's the Hammer House of Horror as well?
Yeah, House of Horror.
Add that one there, all those. I mean, I love those. And Creepshow.
Yeah,
Stephen King.
Get out of my head. I was just about to say that. I've just recently started watching Creepshow again. You'd be
I love it.
surprised the stars that are in that, you know?
I know. It's brilliant.
Insane. Like Jamie, if you were to watch it, you'd be like, oh yeah, him.
I do that anyway.
Yeah, I was just about to say Creepshow. Well done.
Even Stephen King himself is in one of them.
Yeah. Oh, he always seems to try and have a nice little cameo in his movies, like in It. And look, Tim Curry will always be the best Pennywise. You know what I mean?
It's not as scary. I would say the new It. I mean, it did scare me, but it just didn't have the same atmosphere.
No, good movie. Look, I enjoyed it, but it definitely wasn't as good as the first.
They never are.
Well, do you just want to, before we let you go, tell our listeners and viewers where they can learn more about you, buy your books, keep a close eye on what you're doing, sort of thing?
Yeah, so basically, I'm mostly actually on my Facebook page, Stories That Spook. I spend most of my time on there. I must admit, I do need to sort my website out. So just don't go on there just for the time being.
All right.
My Twitter is basically just my name, so you can find me quite easily on there. I do go on Twitter, but it's more interacting with other writers and, you know, authors. And I do buy a lot of books on there as well, because I like to promote like authors like me. And then I've got Instagram. And again, if you want to see cute little pictures of my, you know, family, my 2 sons, and yeah, you can go on there. It's mostly on the Facebook page is where I update most of my stuff. And that's where all my readers are, basically. And they sort of do go onto my website, but I do need to sort that one out.
Okay.
So give it a few weeks.
Yeah, no worries. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Willow.
Yes.
And thank you for having me. It's been, you know, it's been fun and not actually that nervous.
No.
I told you we're not scary, even though we love horror. We're still not very scary. We try and keep it as a nice little chat, you know?
Yeah.
And now I'm probably going to watch Brain Dead now as well, because it's on my mind.
You know what? It's very hard to find out here in Australia in terms of, you know, purchasing it on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever that may be. I haven't seen it in a very, very long time. It's not on any streaming service out here. So, you know, if you or any of our listeners know where I can buy it, please let me know, because I'm hankering to watch it again just to see how bad it really was.
I've got the DVD. My brother Louis. God, seriously. He made me watch it, and he gave it to me, even though he still likes watching it. I kind of basically said, yeah, I'm having this, Louis, you know, you can go away. And he's given me a lot of his horror films because he was moving at one point and he's just forgotten about them. So I'm not going to bring him up. So hopefully I get to keep it.
Hopefully you tell him about this podcast, because then he's going to be like knocking on your door going, excuse me.
Oh God, yeah. Won't tell him. He won't know.
We'll just get Peter Jackson to come on the podcast, and then he can give you one.
Yeah, that, you know, because if Jackson came on this podcast, that'd be the one thing I'd ask him about.
Not many people know that he's done the movie, though.
Oh no, yeah. I tell you, just before we let you go, I'll tell you a little story. When I went to New Zealand with my dad. He has a museum in Wellington. It's called the Weka Museum, which is based off his production company. So he has props from, you know, he did District 9, Needful Things. He's got props from a lot of his Tintin. He did the Tintin movie as well. Before
Tintin, yeah.
Obviously a whole bunch of Lord of the Rings stuff, but he actually has props from Brain Dead in that museum in New Zealand. So yeah. So my dad's like, yeah, we'll just pop in for like half an hour before lunch. I'm like, Dad, do you know me at all? Seriously? I was in there for about 4 solid hours, just looking at everything. And it's so that brought me back then. And I was like, yeah, anytime anyone mentions Brain Dead, it's kind of very nostalgic for me. So you're right, not a lot of people know that that's a Peter Jackson.
I know. I didn't know until my brother said. I was like, what? This is the same man that made the other films? Are you kidding?
Same man. Same man that made Lord of the Rings.
Just a quick question, Ryan. Was the lawnmower in the museum?
The lawnmower was not in the museum. There was a lot of prosthetics in terms of like, there was they had a life-size. You won't know this, Jamie, but do you remember at the end of the movie the big mother, the naked mother that he had?
God, yeah.
Yeah, they had a prosthetic, like a miniature prosthetic of her in the museum, but no lawnmower.
Ah.
I was hoping you were going to say the life-size version of her. You know how big she was.
Life-size, I don't think there'd be much more room in the museum. So,
Unless
I know, but you get to go inside her stomach.
So there you go. If you ever do go to New Zealand, go to Wellington, and it's right in the heart of Wellington, which is kind of like the second biggest city in New Zealand. It's the Weka Museum. So got everything Peter Jackson's ever done, including his horror masterpiece, Brain Dead.
I will remember that.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you for coming on, Willow.
Thank you very much.
It has been a pleasure.
And,
Thank you for having me.
That's all right. Anytime you want to come back on, we are.
Especially when the books are about to come out, so that I can buy them.
Yeah, so I probably will do another one once I actually get a date.
Yeah,
when they come out.
Definitely, because it will serve as a good reminder for me if I need to buy those books.
Exactly.
Well,
enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you very much for joining us.
Yes, thanks.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Hello, listeners and watchers. Jamie here. I just wanted to take a second to let you know that I too am an author, and I have 2 books of my own. 1, Letters from the Emu War. Based on a real-life event, it tells the story of the time when the Australian Army declared war on 20,000 flightless birds and lost. This book is written from the perspective of those who won. And 2, Bucks Night. First in a trilogy of novellas, it's about a medieval-themed Bucks party that is interrupted by the zombie apocalypse. You can find them both on Amazon by following the links in the show notes.